Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to our Templeton Cultural Council meeting, February 3rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. We're actually starting on time. Woo! So I call this meeting to order February 3rd, 2021 at 7 p.m. So first on the agenda is we'll read, does anybody have any questions about the minutes from our last meeting in January 19th?
I had a correction to one of the paragraphs, a typo and a suggestion to use the actual title rather than kind of a nickname reference in the paragraph about the World War II letters.
Okay.
There's a little typo there. And then I'm wondering if we could substitute Templeton Community Senior Center for Senior Center, just to make clear what senior center it is. Even though we probably all know it's Templeton, but just to make that clear.
Okay. Has everybody approved the previous meeting minutes with the corrections, the typo? I believe the word was approved.
Correct.
And also the suggestion of changing from generic senior center to being more specific about whether it's Templeton Senior Center or whatever the proper title is of the center that we will be discussing.
Yeah, it's Templeton Senior Community Center. That's the actual name.
Okay, Senior Community Center.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So are we all in favor of that? Approve it?
Sounds good. Yep.
I approve.
Okay. All right, and then so we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Pat made sure that we all had the breakdown before the meeting. Let me know if I'm being really loud. I have my earbuds in so I can hear you guys, but
Nope, you're good. Okay. So I went through the Barbara and I went over and over and over to make sure we didn't miss anybody, because there are a lot of changes. We had a couple of people from 2019 that the grants weren't used, and they're now they become defunct, because after 2 years the funds go back into the pool. And we went over all the ones that were canceled and postponed and everything from last year. So the bottom line we came up with is in front of you. After we encumbered the $500 for those 2 programs that requested the Mom's World War II letters, and Winchington Winds, we held over $200 for them for this year. And so you see the balance of funds that we had available from the previous fiscal year was $4,600.67. And the state gave us $7,300 for the new year. And that gave us a grand total we have available to give away as grants for this fiscal year of $11,900.67.
wow, that's great.
And please give somebody the 67 cents so we don't have to carry it over.
Okay, that's our goal. Okay,
So
well,
so those are the state grants. And then, we do have town funds that came in the town budget. They're listed at the bottom there. There's also actually another small fund, but we're not really allowed to spend it. It's for services that in case we were to need them, but it isn't something we can actually use ourselves. So I only listed the 2 items that we actually have available funds for. And that was services, which could include hiring a band or advertising or whatever kind of services. And then one for supplies, which, like in previous years, we bought a table, a tent, a banner, those sort of things. craft supplies for events that we provided crafts for, like the Kite Festival. So we have those funds at the bottom. Thing to keep in mind, those funds go back to the town. Anything we don't use goes back to the town on June 30th. So that money is not available, for example, if we want to use it for the craft fair that happens in August, because we won't have this money that's there anymore. On June 30th, it disappears. I didn't put on this form, and I should have. We also have that $396 in the fundraising account that
Right.
we keep talking about using.
That's a priority.
I should have put that on the bottom of that form. So if you want to add it on, it's fundraising. It's our cultural council fundraising account of $396, which we really should try to use this year and just get it off the books, because it drives the accountant crazy that it's there.
Hmm.
It doesn't fit into any of the categories that the state has set up on their form.
Yeah, I'm in big favor of getting rid of that. It just would make it a lot easier.
Now that we could use, so we could do that $396. We could hold it and use it in August if we were to do something at the Arts and Crafts Festival, because that money is our fundraising account. It does not revert back to the town. That's why we've been carrying it for years. So that money we could use if we wanted to hire a band or something.
Okay,
Probably
and then
probably won't be enough to actually hire a band though.
that was my next question. So yes, the 396, but I think when we're discussing granting, that we should make sure that we have just a little bit more to pay for a band, because bands definitely are over $400. So within this budget, I'd really like to make sure that we have, at least like $550 towards some kind of band for the Arts and Craft Festival, because we've been doing that for years. And if we find someone that wants to perform, I would really like to make sure that there's enough money, with knowing that the $396 from the fundraising money is going to definitely be used towards that.
Mhm.
But then allocate enough, like $200 for us out of our budget, so that way we have enough funds to do that. So I think that would be a really good thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting away. The band that we had was actually pretty inexpensive, especially considering there were a lot of band members and they played for 2 hours. I mean, it was great. I don't think we're going to find anybody for that kind of money.
Yeah, wasn't it something like $425 or something like that?
$450, I think we paid them last year. And if you look at, the people that have applied for other things for bands, like the Historical Society, the people they've hired, it was like $550 one year. Another one is $500. I mean, so you're not going to get away with it for $396, especially if you want a bigger than like 2 people, that kind of a band,
Right. So keep in mind after we do the grants, I really would like to make sure that we have an additional like $200 for that set aside for the Arts and Crafts Festival, because it would allow us to clean up that 396, but also ensure that we have enough money to hire somebody to be part of that, especially where we've been doing it for so many years. And if there is definitely an Arts and Crafts Festival, I definitely want to be part of that again this year, especially where we had such a slim pickings or devastating year last year. So I did
get in touch with one of the organizers of the new Arts and Crafts Fair. It's now called the Festival on the Common.
Okay.
They haven't made any decisions yet about this year. But if they have it, they would love to have us provide a band. So, I really think we ought to count on it. And if the craft fair didn't happen, we could always just sponsor a Sunday afternoon concert on the Common. We're allowed to do that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be in conjunction with anything else. As a council, we're just, we're allowed to do that with with the state funds.
And it
So-
still would fit in just in case if they don't have the festival. With COVID, people would still go to the common and space themselves out and stuff. I think it probably would still be in the community. So again, I think it's a win-win for the community. There'll be something, regardless if it's not a big festival, it'll be something on the common.
Yeah,
Could,
I
could
miss,
we
I
all-
miss, I miss the Sunday concerts we used to have on the common, the community band, we don't have a community band playing anymore. So it'd be nice to have something like that.
Sally,
could
did
we
you have?
allocate that money right now so it's in there before we dole it out?
We can, well, at any point that you would like, we can add it to the
The grant
the
list.
grant list that you have in front of you with those 24 grant applications. You can just write in at the bottom of the list.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, Sally, thanks for the suggestion. Uncommon. Do you want to like, agree, like maybe we should set aside right now before we start doing anything else for like $200 towards that? Because again, 396 we'll use, but if we give ourselves $200 or, I mean, you guys chime in if you want it to be, 100, I'm terrible with math, 100 and blah, blah dollars to make it like 400 even. I don't care, but I would like to make sure there's enough money to have that happen. So,
I maybe make it 200.
200 even? Okay. Is everybody in favor of that?
That would give us,
To make it
that would
an
give
even
us the
number.
596, which should be, hopefully would be okay to.
Nicole, I didn't hear you. Did you say like 204?
Yeah, 204, that would make it an even $600.
Oh,
All right, I like that. Thank you.
about 96 cents.
I was just gonna say.
But keep in mind, we have to grant all the rest of this. And so then somebody else, that's how last year we ended up giving Winchington Music Festival, we gave them $289 because we gave $21 to Cabin Fever.
Oh, yep.
So, if we just gave ourselves an even 200 out of the state money, I'm sure we can come up, work out the $4 with the band.
Okay. So, just let me know what you guys want to do right now. I'm all for, I lost you guys. I'm all for either 200 or 206 right now. That way, as we figure everybody else out, we know that we're all set for one of the things that we definitely want to be responsible for in August.
I prefer the round number of 200 or, make it a
I
200
think
or.
we have a motion on the
something, but-
floor for 200 anyway.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor for 200. Pat, do you second that?
Sure.
Okay, so 200. Thank you for the suggestion though, Nicole. Okay, so 200, is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, so we did the report, the treasurer's report, so we're all good with that, right? Everybody's comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely a lot more than I really thought by the time this meeting was held, because I know Pat had to go through everything meticulously and find out who's left over, who didn't put in, and we had some stuff that we had to clean up right away. So we weren't really sure. So ending up with $11,000 is a lot of money. I'm really happy, very, very impressed that we have that. So.
Yeah, there were two that came in at the very end. People have until a year from the date they receive approval for the grant to request either a reimbursement or a modification or whatever. And a couple of them came in January. That was the Jackie Prime. That was an old one, actually. Jackie Prime. The money sits there for 2 years, but they're really supposed to ask for a modification within a year. But Jackie Prime, that World's Worst Weather, they did hold that event. So she put in the reimbursement for that. And Marjorie Chase from the high school, called about their event for the international club. And I thought it had been canceled because it was in March.
I also
was just
thought it
at
was
the time all the
canceled.
COVID stuff came into play, but apparently they actually had their event right before the schools closed down. And she just never put in the reimbursement form. So we got that taken care of. And then, of course, Davis Bates, who played at the senior center in the fall, that one came in. So we had to pay those three out of the funds before we could start looking at what we had available now.
Great. So are we all comfortable with the treasurer's report?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess we can just move along and discuss reviewing and voting on our grant applications. Did everybody get my email regarding Dr. the Machine, Jesse Green? I hope so.
Oh, yes.
So it sounded interesting, and he already, once we reached out to him, he took it that almost like that he might be able to get the grant. So he automatically reached out to Narragansett. And so I guess he would utilize it at Narragansett, but could expand it if there was more students that they wanted to provide it for. So at least to be in our community. And he seemed pretty excited about doing it. So, and then Virginia had reached out to John Porcino. Hopefully I said his name right. And he seemed pretty eager, and that would be, we kind of steered him towards Jackie Prime. So, and she seemed very receptive of the performance at the library. But unfortunately, Jackie isn't here tonight to elaborate. But I would assume that she'd be very happy to have it there. So, and that's all we needed to really like follow up on, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, do you want to start getting to this, or?
Yeah, I just forgot to put a something in here. 11,000.
Because I think what the grants ended up, I think the last time I had discussed it, it was almost like $12,000 with all the grants that asked.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd like to really reach out to most people. You know, maybe we can't, you know, some people have asked for like $1,000. You know, we don't have, like, nothing says that we have to give them all $1,000. I know, Virginia, you have never been part of this. So, you know, we don't have to grant them everything that they've asked for. It's kind of like a wish list, in my opinion. Even if I'm speaking wrong, they certainly ask, and hopefully they have other things that would help with the performances or functions that they want to have. But I mean, they all sound excellent, so it's more or less just going through them all and, you know, divvying it up, I guess.
If you looked at the panel book, and I know the panel book is intimidating. If you went online and look at it, in the application process, all of the grant people who apply for grants are asked, what would you do if you don't get the full amount requested? So they're aware that they may not get the full amount requested. And they give varying answers. Some saying, well, you know, like instead of an hour-and-a-half concert, we'd make it the concert lasts an hour. Or, you know, we'd charge a small fee for, you know, the tickets, or, you know, so they're all aware that they may not get the full amount that they request, and that they need a fallback position. And if we gave them a smaller amount and they decided that it wasn't sufficient, they can always just reject the offer, you know, and we put the money back into the pot.
Right. So, Okay, so we want to just start hacking at it then. Hiya. So
Are there-
that, go
Are
ahead.
there any that anybody feels like really, really strongly about just wiping off the list entirely? I mean, something that's happened in the past. So I'm just, if there's something you really feel strongly that you don't want to spend the money on, we could zero them out to begin with, or.
I'm just going to mention 5 of these grants are for the Narragansett Historical Society, and I'm a member of the Historical Society, an active member, and one of the grants is for a program that I will be doing. So I'm going to say right at the beginning, I'm decided to abstain from any votes on those 5 grants, just to make certain things are there's no conflict of interest or anything, just to keep everything on the level.
We appreciate that, Virginia, for
Yeah.
letting us know that and
Yeah.
upfront. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
The one thing that you asked if anything strongly, not really, it's not a strong thing, but the Uniquely Quabbin magazine. I don't, I'm not really, it's great for the community, but I think, in my opinion, this year, it needs to be more about the performances and what's going to really happen in the community. Although I can respect that, they're requesting money. If there's anything else left, I'm more than happy to agree to give them money. But I recently had the opportunity to read it. It seems like it's a great magazine, but they also have advertising that they receive money for and to develop their magazine. So that would be the one applicant that I want to kind of maybe not focus so much on until we get wherever out. I'm trying to be really nice about just saying, like you said, strongly. It's just that I'd like to touch upon everybody else and
Save
try
it
to
at the end.
spread the money around as much as we can. And if we can revisit it and give them something. I don't think last year we gave them everything they requested. So I'm sure if we, ended up giving them $50, $100, whatever. I'm not saying to not give them anything, but I'd like to focus on the other stuff first and see where we fall, because we still, like we said, we still need the $200 for us. And we still have to make sure we have the money for the few things that were left over that we said we would honor, like the World War II letters and stuff.
Yeah, I took that money set aside, so it's not included in,
Okay,
it's
so
not
yeah,
included
'cause
in what
I don't
we have
want-
available to spend.
excellent, great, thank you for that. So,
Yeah, last year, I think on the Uniquely Quabbin, I think we gave them $100. They'd asked for a couple hundred and I think we gave them 100.
right,
That sounds right.
yeah, and it seems fair. I mean, they if we can give it to them, absolutely. So,
Yeah, I agree with you, though. I think the performances, I think the events, if they're able to be held, are more important at this point. I think people need that more than anything else.
yeah, I think
Both the performers and people to have something to go to.
I agree with you, absolutely. So, so is there anybody else that has anything that they really just feel like, nah, bless you, whoever just sneezed. Let's see. If not, I could just start from the top of the list and we can go through. Bless you, Virginia.
Bless you.
So the first one on the list is the National Foreign Language Week. And that would be, they're requesting $500. And does everybody remember what that's about?
Yeah, it's the international club. They usually have performers come from representing music from different places in the world.
Correct.
And this
yeah.
year they were going to have some people from Peru and Ecuador. and Colombia.
Yeah, and some
Mexico.
traditional instruments and
And they're gonna
songs.
do it on the football field, because of, social distancing and all that.
So I think that they're really trying to make sure a lot of people can come and reach a pretty good venue, and definitely on the football field.
And they do expect to serve a lot of people. One of the things I like to look at is how many people are going to benefit. And, you talk about something at the high school, they're talking about 350 people attending. So, and I believe, because I remember when my kids were in school, I went to some of these programs. So I think the community, it's not just limited to the students, but I think the community can go and see these performers if they wanted to.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Now, again, if the schools aren't open, I mean, they're talking about doing it either in March or May.
Yeah, and they do preface that it's grades 8 through 12, students from the entire campus, plus families and community members throughout the district are also invited. So it's not just anybody can go. So, and they've been doing this for 10 years, they say. So, so they're asking for 500, and Marjorie usually does something at the high school, doesn't she?
Yeah, they've been asking us for money for this international club for several years. I think it's a good program that reaches a lot of people. So,
and it doesn't really say, they're not going to charge anybody for anything, and it doesn't really say what they would do if they didn't get all the money. So, so I'm assuming that they're looking for the full 500 from us. So, what does everybody feel?
500's fine with me.
it's fine with me.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, moving on. So we're all good. We're all square with that, all of us, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. The next one would be David Bates. And he definitely comes to our community and seems to be enjoyed by this year. He would be performing at the library.
If it's open. If nothing's open yet.
Well, but they could even do it. I mean, he could do it on a lawn if it was in the springtime. Because
And
he did his senior center program on the lawn at the senior center in October when it was very cold. So,
right.
So it
And-
doesn't have to be in the library. It could be outside.
And
Right.
about 2 years ago, he was at the library outside during the summertime.
And this grant, he's asking specifically, he says Thursday, July 26th at 4:00. So that definitely, parents and community could be part of it. And I would
And he's
assume,
obviously he must have cleared it with Jackie to have that specific time.
yeah, and it says his estimated number of people is 100. So
I think that's the farmer's market. If the farmer's market is held again this
Right.
summer,
He did
last
it
time he
last year.
performed during the farmer's market. So, and I think it was Thursdays, the
I
farmer's
think you're right,
market.
Thursday
We
afternoon.
didn't have
think.
farmer's market last year, though.
No, but if it's held again, that sounds like what it would be held during for a bigger audience than just children. It would be.
Yeah. Yeah, that was when when they had the farmer's market 2 years ago. It was on a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, that she always had it.
I'm good with him.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love him. I love him.
I was just to say, I've heard nothing but, did I read it wrong? No, total numbers served is 60. I apologize for that. I must have, but maybe he estimated 100 people. I don't know if I scrolled forward to something else, and I apologize for that. I correct myself on that one. I was just looking to see what his budget was.
Yeah.
So he's asking for 475. His total projected expenses is 700, but for some reason he has down additional income as 225. So he'll only be asking for 475 from us. That's where I got kind of humped up about that. So everybody is comfortable with him. He does
Yeah.
seem to be very receptive, and this time he'd be more apt towards it's more towards kids. It says here. So this past year he performed at the Templeton. I'm going to say it wrong, Virginia. Templeton Community Senior Center.
Templeton Senior Community Center.
Close enough.
Is it the TC yeah, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so we're all good with the 475 for Mr. Bates?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All right, so the next one is John Porcino, and we were all pretty interested about him when we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and we geared him towards Jackie Prime. And unfortunately, Jackie Prime isn't here to elaborate on her contact with him. But he seemed, Virginia had sent out the note, and he seemed pretty receptive of wherever. He was very happy. He used to be a school teacher, you said, right, Virginia? And because now he potentially does have a venue, because remember, with the COVID restrictions, they wanted us to kind of be a little bit more forgiving, because people have to wait almost to find out what their venue is going to be. But in this case, he can have it at the library.
Yeah, it's just a matter of working out a time with
Jackie.
And he in his email, he was very, very eager to be at the to do a performance for the kids at the library. So.
Okay. So do we feel confident that again, if it doesn't happen, then either we extend it, or he just forfeits the performance. So are we all good with giving
Yep.
John Pacino, and we'll give him he's requesting 425.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so then moving right along is Marilyn Morales. And I'm sorry, I forget what hers is. I have to go and look at it.
It's a piano duo, and that was a little complicated. It's something they want to do through a television, cable TV
Cable.
performance
Oh, that's
that
right.
would only be accessible basically to the town. It's not like sometimes you put things up on YouTube and it's there forever and anybody can see it. This would be specifically licensed for the town.
Okay.
I put her in touch with Steve Castle, and they are working together.
Okay, so there has been some kind of contact, and
Yeah, Steve, I have an email from Steve that says CTV is amenable to broadcasting this concert. He isn't clear how exactly they're going to handle the Zoom the session, but he would be in contact with her to work it out. So it's
Okay.
we can do it if we want to spend the money. Steve said he can work with these people to do it.
but and the thing is, I was just looking through her thing, and it doesn't really necessarily say what would happen if she didn't receive all the money from us.
Right.
So
It's going to be a 1-hour program that would be broadcast on Templeton Cable TV.
which would be local.
It would be a Zoom. There would be a pre-concert lecture and discussion for local residents on Zoom prior to the broadcast. And then it would be a recorded concert ready for broadcast at a time that they worked out with the cable TV station.
And then let me just make sure I understand. So Templeton TV, cable television could actually have it several times, like they could put it like, on a Tuesday afternoon.
I
Or-
don't know if it's that or if it's a one-time. It sounded to me like it was a one-time concert, just like you would go to see a concert.
Okay,
That's the way I was reading her message.
okay.
What kind of advertising is he gonna have? Or is she gonna have? You're expecting 1,000 people.
I mean, I don't know how many, I think, I don't know.
Say
I'm
that's-
looking to see on her grant if it says anything about,
yes,
because a lot of people put how they're gonna advertise it.
Yeah.
I just wondered because she estimates it's gonna be up to 1,000 people served. And I wondered,
Well, that could be, did you just have a furry friend walk by?
I did,
Yeah.
I did.
I walked by.
I think they're basing it on figuring, how many people in town have used, cable TV. And I don't know. I'm not sure how many people in town would tune in at.
Yeah, it says that the virtual
given
paradigm shift is allowing us to bring viewers from around the globe. As this will be on a local cable TV, there will be no required cost to attend. But I don't see where the advertising part comes in. I'm trying to find it real quick.
Just wondered.
I mean, I'm assuming you'd have a lot of promotion on cable TV itself.
Okay.
On the cable TV station.
Oh, here it is. Promote strategies include local media, constant contact, social media, email, Zoom, word of mouth. Our partners at Local Access will help to focus on promotional activities to reach the local community. We will provide them with graphics, press information well ahead of presentation. We will coordinate publicly with our festival resources to maximize our marketing efforts. And it says this, please see their Facebook CCC Festival. So they plan to promote it.
I just wondered when I saw how many people they were estimated they were gonna serve.
I mean, how does everybody feel about that? Do you think, I think it'd be,
Since you have it in front of you, Lisa,
yeah,
what does she say about how they would deal if we didn't give them the full $750?
so it says other incomes. They have private donations, $250. In-kind services, cable access, $500. In-kind gift, Whipple and Morales, $1,000. As I mentioned in this next section, the funds requested for this grant are only represented by a portion of our standard concert fee. Okay, here it is, sorry. Grant funding will only cover our basic expenses and represent a significant cut in our standard concert fee. Especially during these trying times, we are hoping to receive the full amount requested to guarantee the success of the project. While we are applying to several other LCCs for similar virtual presentations, we will only be applying to others in support of our presentation and community if they are share your local access station. I don't think they really have any other supplemental. I think it's them.
So it sounds like it's either all or
Oh,
nothing.
I was about to say that. I wanted to, how am I going to say that politically correct? But that's how I feel, that it's all or nothing. So, I think it would be interesting to see it. And I love that Steve Castle's on board with it. And they're asking $750 from us, correct? Right.
Yes.
Can we?
Yeah.
Can we skip over,
I would say, do you want to move on and check
Let's
other
see how-
things?
see how we feel about some others and
Absolutely. So then the next one, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Virginia?
could I just ask what kind of music? Are we talking pop music, classical music, ragtime?
I believe it's I think it's,
Okay, hold on.
I think it's. Our program will be selected from our wide repertoire of works and arrangements for one and or two pianos.
It doesn't, that's pretty general. Yeah, okay. That I don't want to tie things up. I just asked.
It doesn't specify Virginia, just
You're
like
right, I hear that.
So
Yeah.
it's an interesting mix of familiar and new works, along with descriptive and enriching commentary.
Okay, thank you. I forgot that.
I mean, it would certainly be different from our normal fare.
So they provided the Cranberry Coast Concert Presents the 2019 Summer Concert Series, and some of the they did a Vaughan Williams Song of Travel, a Gershwin Rhapsodies in Blue.
Hmm.
So it's, it really depends, like they said, whatever they pick that day or whatever their program is. So, but I'm all for like moving on and then revisiting that, because we have a lot to get to, and that's a lot of money, and we're not quite really sure. So we'll revisit it. So not a no. Okay, so the next one is the Winchington Winds. And that's expanded concert series. And they do them in downtown, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Clemson.
they're at the church that's on
Right
Central
on Front
Street.
Street.
Central. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're the ones that we held over some funds from last year. We held over $200, and they said that what they hoped to do was to add another concert
Right.
this summer to kind of make up. So they would have the concert series that they didn't have last year and add an extra concert if we gave them another $100.
And I was saying they're adding an additional concert, but only asking for $100.
$100.
So I feel that they're trying to work with us as much as we're trying to work with them. So I'm a yes on the $100.
I'm a
I'm
yes.
all for it.
I am too, yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so then the next one is the Winchington Music Festival.
These are the folks that they do their concert. They've done their concerts at Old Center Church. Have you been to any of those, Nicole? Are you familiar with them?
Is it Old Center Church or is it Gar Park?
Old Center Church.
I thought they did.
It's very nice up there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Very nice.
I've never been, but I do hear that it's nice.
Yeah, this is a big concert orchestra. It's like a 40-piece orchestra.
It's nice up there.
Last year we gave them $289. It was,
Oh, and they're asking 1,000 this year.
yeah.
Didn't you say that there were other people that donate to that?
Yeah,
I think
they also get money from other towns around too.
I think when we talked about it before, we thought maybe 300, or was that just that's what we gave before?
Well, last year we would have given them 300, except we had that $21 to deal with, so we gave them 289. I mean, I would actually be comfortable giving them, I don't know, 4 or 5.
Like half of it.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting. It's a music festival, so it's not one performance. It's
Multiple.
They do several performances over the season, and it's a big orchestra, and something that we don't get a lot of here. We tend to have a lot of country music bands or whatever, but for people who want to see something that you don't often see out here in the country.
And it's pretty up there too. You look out over the hill and
Oh, really? Oh, so
it's really pretty. You feel like you're back in the old country
oh, nice.
years ago.
Yeah,
And
last year, what they ended up doing was they did virtual performances.
Right, we
Because-
granted that, right?
You know, and we did allow them to use the $289 for that. You know, they had performers from basically from around the world. And they put them on YouTube so you could enjoy the music, you know, even though you couldn't go to a concert.
And they do say in here that, you know, how we ask it, what if we can't fund the whole thing? And it does say the number or type of WMF can offer is linked with the funding. We could easily reduce, but hopefully expand. So they're reaching for the stars this year. But I'm all for, like, I don't know about the whole 1,000, but I feel good about like giving them 500 of it at least.
I would.
I would too.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
And I mean, we could always revisit it if there's extra money, but we still have X amount of applicants to go through as well. So
500 for now?
for I say yes.
Yes.
All right, so the next one is the Sean L. Fullerton. And my memory's awful. I have to look at everything. Let's see.
That doesn't-
Acoustic.
Oh, so it's for the
Talk about
Templeton
maybe
Senior
grand
Center.
opening.
Acoustic Memories for Seniors. Date is to be determined once the COVID open-ended right now due to the COVID-19. And of course, the senior center is not open, correct?
Mhm.
Well, they're
So-
not
Right.
open yet. I don't.
Not
think-
yet, right?
Not
But he has his repertoire here is blues, soul, rock and roll, Irish, instrumental, finger style guitar, 1930s all the way to 50s. Will perform with vocals and accompanied by acoustic guitars and harmonicas. Sounds interesting.
Mhm.
And he would promote it, Facebook, social web, Gardiner News, Templeton, mass.gov. And let me just see what he says if we don't fund the whole thing. He would say that if he doesn't get the full fee of $250, he will inquire with the senior center to see if local friends groups or any other funding sources, so they could work out supplement the difference. So, and I don't think the senior center really has anything on the books this year, correct? I think this is probably one of the only things.
Well, there's a couple things. They got the Dan Kerouac concert and music, dance,
Okay.
hip hop.
Oh, okay.
But-
All right.
You know, $250 isn't that much.
And I do know that the senior center, they get a lot of people. I mean, my question is, do you have to be a senior?
No.
So well, I consider mine a little old, but I could go watch it if I want.
Yeah.
So it really is open, even though it is at the senior center.
Yes.
You could
They have
still
an
go see it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we asked a couple of years ago, somebody from the community had raised a question. Actually, it was somebody from another community wanted to attend one of the programs at our senior center. And I think they were given a little bit of a hard time. And so they raised a question to us and we raised it to the state. And the state said, you can't deny anybody from going. So anybody could go, even if it's at the senior center, you know, even if it's a program at the senior center, if it's funded by a state grant, you can't deny people by where they live or how old they are or whatever.
Okay.
So there.
And that's why it's called the Templeton Senior Community
Community Center.
Center. That's why.
You're gonna drill me on that, aren't you?
I'm gonna-
I only made the mistake.
So are we all thinking that the 250 is reasonable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Jan, you all set with the 250?
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, the next one is the Gardiner Area League of Artists.
That was for
And-
the light fixtures.
Right.
Yeah, if you look at even when they talk about their current shows, they rent lighting fixtures for the art to light the artworks. And so what they're saying is if they could get some help in buying some fixtures, then every show that they do from here on ever would cost less. Which, really makes sense.
Yeah. So the
And
total
also-
project's 1276, and they're asking us for 300, and they have some form of additional income for 976. So they're not asking us for the total amount.
Have you guys been to the Gala Center now that they've got up there next to the, it's next to the Winchington Historical Society building? It's like an old barn and they redid it. It's
Oh,
very nice.
I'm sorry, where is this, in Gardiner?
It's in Winchington. The Historical Society building, that great big white Historical Society building.
Yes.
There was like a barn out in the back, and they renovated the barn into a little art center, a gallery.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
They said it's very nice.
I have to get out more.
Yeah, you do.
So
they also want 300 for the art show too, right?
correct. So, I kind of like the idea that they are purchasing their own equipment. It certainly will cut down on their budget. It does say, if we don't fund the whole thing, they would cut back on advertising, raise artist membership dues and registration fee, ask businesses to help. Like they said, COVID-19 still remains out there with uncertainties, and we will have to modify our programs to see what works and what doesn't work. So, I don't know. What do you guys feel? Lights, action, just kidding. Do you want to give them the total 300? Or do you think we could meet them at like 150, 200? I mean, what's you guys' feelings?
I'm comfortable with 300.
I am too.
I am too.
Pat's shaking her head back
Okay.
and forth. Okay, 300 it is. Okay, so that's for the lighting though, because then they have another one.
Right.
It's lighting expensive.
Yeah, and I love that they're being proactive, so they have their own stuff. I like that they sent us the kit and everything to show what it is. Oh, this is when it shrunk on me. So the next one is the Gardiner Area League of Artists, and it's another $300. And I gotta try to blow it up.
Last year we gave them 200 for their spring art show that then turned into a summer art show that then turned into a fall art show. And they
Yeah.
finally gave up because the COVID restrictions kept going and going and going. So they finally gave up on it. But
And this that they're asking, they're only asking an additional $300. I mean, it's a pretty huge budget. It's like $6,400. And I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, what do you guys think?
I'm okay with it.
Me too.
Me too.
Pat?
Yep.
Okay.
just looking, keep in mind that we had requests for $12,810. And if you add in our own couple $100, that's request for 13,000.
Okay.
And the amount available is
11,900.
11.9. So, there's some things that aren't going to get fully funded. So,
Right.
Well, if we have to go back and,
Yeah,
maybe that.
just saying.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we've already knocked $500 off of one. So, that's kind of like halfway there. Almost.
I was trying to add it.
Yeah, I'm keeping a running total here. We're up to 3,050.
Okay.
And my
All right.
computer's adding it. I'm not. So
Thank goodness. I was trying to add it on my phone, but It's not working for me. Let's see. Okay, so the next one is the Narragansett Middle School. And this is where, this is kind of like near and dear to our heart, right? Where we send the kids to see the,
Well, this is the one where they go to the Cordova Museum.
correct.
One of the things to keep in mind is I think their budget includes money for chaperones, and we don't pay for chaperones.
Right. The maximum amount that we would really even be able to give them is 700, because that is
Right.
for the students.
Right.
And do we remember what we gave last year?
I don't like it. Wait a minute. I just had that piece of paper in my hand. Middle school, we gave them
50.
$550 last year.
Okay.
But even if you give them even if for the time being, if you gave them the 700, it's 130 less than, just in terms of looking at the budget, that's $130 that we're shaving off of the request total. But yeah, last year we gave them $550.
And I thought this year we were gonna, if we had the extra money, we were gonna try to send the 700.
Yep.
So do you want to say yes right now? And as we start adding, if we have to revisit, we can shrink that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Put in 700, and I said we could come back and
Revisit it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is Dr. the Machine, Jesse Green. He just sounds like he's so upbeat and fun. Because when I wrote the letter, I wasn't quite, the email, I wasn't sure how to address it, so I was like, "Dear Dr. the Machine, Jesse Green." And he seemed, and he did email me back and said, if you need anything else from me, don't hesitate. So, he was already looking for his venue and everything. And he just, I don't know, it just seems almost like it's kind of what the kids need now, some kind of energy and something fun. And, but I don't have kids. I'm not really sure. And, it's been a long time since I've been in school. So, what's everybody's thoughts and feelings on it?
if the school, if they can work it out with the schools, I think it could be a good thing. Yeah.
Did we say that was 2,000 people?
Yeah, his projection was trying to reach as many as he could.
How does he reach 2,000 people? Is that also going to be Zoomed or something, or?
Correct.
There's a lot of kids.
So
And
there's
people
so
think
there's no physical component to his performance. It's entirely digital.
Yes. Bless whoever. He says, I am willing to try and work with the council if full funding is not available, as I believe this is an important message that all kids need to hear. So I don't know if he would shrink it. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
And what does he say if he doesn't get the full amount?
That's what he said. He said, all it says is I'm willing to try and work with the council if full funding is not available. If you have applied to other local councils for funding for these specific project, please list the names of these councils. So he's gone to Medway, Framingham, Boston, North Andover, Chicopee. So I think he's really.
Yeah, it's probably based on he's asking every town for $500 or something.
Yeah, like a big Massachusetts thing. So, because he doesn't elaborate other than that. So, what's you guys' feelings?
I think it sounds like something would be great for the kids.
I don't have a problem with it.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yes.
Jan?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. All right, so then the Clear Path for Veterans New England, that's where they build the flags.
They make a wooden flag.
Right.
Yeah.
I did get in touch with these people.
Oh, you did?
I did.
And, because it's an ongoing project, correct? It's not like
Yeah.
one,
Because, my concern was it said that it was going to run from January to December. And I said, well, it's already January. It's gone, The program has started for 2021. The workshops are held once a month on the last Wednesday of the month. We have an open registration. Veterans can sign up anytime. We reach out to coordinate the specific workshop date. The workshops are held in Templeton at Old Glory Millworks, which
oh, right in Templeton?
I don't know. I don't know where that is. But, we have veterans that have registered for future workshops that currently includes 4 veterans from Templeton. We plan to conduct marketing within Templeton to attract additional participants from the community. The program is open to veterans from other communities in addition to Templeton. A benefit of the workshop is building connections. We have also applied for support from Ayer, Shirley, and Gardiner councils. And she said, we partner with Sheila Pelletier, the VSO from Templeton. Currently, we are providing Sheila with 45 perishable food boxes. This is they're connected with the organization that gives out food for vets.
Okay.
At the Legion. I thought it was once a week, but maybe it's not once a week. But I don't know. I think my only question is how many people are actually going to be served, and if so far they've signed up 4 people from Templeton, $1,000 sounds like an awful lot of money for.
Well, they're asking for like $80 a month. Considering that 1 month is gone, whatever.
Yeah, because it says additional cultural council grants, 1,200. And then a Bruce J. Anderson grant proposal, $5,000. So.
And my only thing was, it strikes me that for a small number of people, $1,000 is a lot of money. Because some of these other programs, we're talking about people having, audience of, 50 or,
And there's no guarantee with this one, is what we're
and
saying.
we're talking about a very,
Right.
a pretty small number of people when our part of our guidelines is, getting the most bang for the buck.
Yeah, and they do
I
say.
like the idea. I like the idea of the program.
I do too.
And I certainly would like to do stuff, for the vets. I'm just having a little trouble reconciling $1,000 for a program that serves a handful of people.
But then again, we don't have to give them the 1,000.
I'm just saying that's
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
That my mind gets hung up a little bit.
Right, because it does say that Clear Path for Veterans New England will continue to pursue additional grant funding or seek community donations to provide this valuable program at no cost for the service members and veterans in our community. So, I mean, it could be a program that we would like to see move along, but doesn't mean that we have to give them the $1,000 either. I mean, we could give them 200, so do you want to come back to it? Or do you want to pencil like a $200 donation? I agree. I think $1,000 is
I
a
wouldn't
lot.
object to 500 even. I'm having trouble imagining how many people are actually going to be served by it. That's my only.
Well, if it goes for 10 months, then we do $50 a month.
But if it's only 4 people who sign up, or 6 people sign up,
I'm more in my whole thought process. It's more like 250, 300.
Yeah.
And we can put nothing down and come back to it, or we can pencil something in now.
If I felt confident that they were going to have you know, even a couple dozen people, I mean, I'm just concerned it's a lot, comparatively speaking, it's a lot of money for a small number of,
Yeah, I mean, like they said, right
Participants.
now they have 4 people signed up.
Yeah.
I mean, so. Does anybody have any thoughts on it?
I think I would be okay with 300,
Well,
like a,
a regular veterans group in town, I heard was disbanded because there wasn't enough interest. So I don't know how true that is.
Okay,
But this was like the end of last year, and I think Pat heard it the same day I did.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for the input.
I don't know how true it is, but I haven't heard any, anyone real active in it.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? So do we want to pencil in 300 and move along, or come back to it?
let's make a decision.
how about 4?
350.
I feel better with like 350. I was thinking more like 300, and Pat said 4, so let's go 350 and meet it in the middle.
That sounds
All right, that
good.
sounds good. 350 it is.
Okay, so then the next one is, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, Dan Kerouac.
Kerouac.
And I'm having a hot flash, forgive me. What was his thing? Okay, so this is a summer fall event at the Templeton Senior Community Center.
Yay.
And it is roughly potentially 40 people. And it's a concert, a music suitable for seniors, center population, easy listening, pop and light rock from 1950s to 70s, keyboard and vocals.
Oh, yay.
And what I just want to see what he says if we don't fund it all. So if the LCC cannot provide total funding, artists will approach any local friends groups to see if they can supply balances or perhaps the local library.
I don't think
So-
250 is, I don't think 250 is a lot of money for a program.
No, I don't either. So 250, everybody?
Yes.
I'm good. Yep.
Okay. Pat, how are we doing on our balance?
We have spent 7,050.
Wow, goes fast.
We're
huh?
good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Okay, so the next one is the Historical Society.
No, we have 7,050 left is what sorry.
Oh, that's
We
even
spent
better.
we spent 4,850.
Oh, okay, I thought we spent 7.
Sorry,
I'm
it's
like,
the
wow.
it's the bifocals.
Okay, so this next one is for
Malapalooza.
yeah, Motapalooza. And that's usually a great venue, correct? And he is asking for 600. So that would be the band.
Yeah, I think it's like 500 for the band and then $100 for publicity, flyers, advertisement, whatever.
Yeah, I say yes.
Did somebody say yes?
Yep, I say yes.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Is everybody comfortable with the 600?
Yes.
Okay, and then the next one is also the Narragansett Historical Society. Is this the Lucy Stone Tea or is this the?
Yes.
Yes.
That's gonna be in June, right? Or
That's what it says.
we're hoping to have it in June.
June 13th.
You know,
And
I
this-
don't have a problem with putting in the money for that. An alternative though, is that if it's in June, that's during this fiscal year, we could use the money we have from the town. I think all they're looking for is money for advertising and flyers and promotion.
I would like to do that. Let's,
So we, rather than use the state grant for that, we could use the we
town
could use the
funds.
town funds.
I
That's a
agree with
great
that.
idea. Yeah.
Good idea, Pat.
And then that's like, that 750 we have, we can spend out of that, correct?
And then if it gets, you know, if it were to get pushed over because of the COVID thing, if the T got pushed into, excuse me, into the next fiscal year after June 30th, you know, I'm guessing even if the town didn't give us as much money as they gave us this year, they'd give us at least $150 for our budget. You know, I mean, we've had
Okay.
a budget, for the last few years. I don't think they'd zero us out.
Okay. And that would come out of the services of the
Yeah,
town funds, which we've been allotted 750 this year. So
yeah.
we would take that 150 out of town funds. I think that's
Yeah.
a great idea to make sure we get to use
Yeah.
that. Is everybody all set with that one?
Yes.
I am. Yep.
Okay. All right, the next one is the Narragansett Historical Society for 200. I sound like I'm doing Jeopardy. I am not Alex Trebek. God bless him. And that would be, I have no idea what I did with my screen, but it's like tiny, tiny. And this one is the Pro Kite Day.
Yeah, this is where he said it would actually be, I think it's actually supposed to be after the Kite Festival, after you've gotten everybody all excited about kites.
Yeah, I think so.
He would bring in some kite professionals,
Right, to
To show
follow up the
what you
event,
can
right?
do with a real, what you can do with a real kite.
This event is to follow up the Kite Festival to be held August 15th. At the Kite Festival, people of all ages have the opportunity to fly or attempt to fly kites. And this follow-up event, kite experts will demonstrate their skills and flying levels. I think it's interesting.
Is that, what's the funding for on that, Lisa?
$200 from marketing and promotion. That's it. Could we use the town funds for that as well?
I don't know, why don't we leave it in there for now? And come
Oh,
back-
but that's August, so the money would
That's
be already
August, yeah,
gone.
we don't know what we're gonna.
Yeah,
do. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so we can't do that. But I think it's I kudos to him to find something different.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So do you does
good
anybody
with
have
that.
everybody's okay with the 200?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so then the next one is the Historical Society again, and that is for the band for the actual Kite Festival.
yeah,
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah, I think.
I thought it was great last year. It was the first one
It
I had
was.
been to, so I mean, of course, it'll always be the best one. But we got a lot of good feedback from it, so I think everybody really looked forward for that. And that is so for the 550, it's 150 for promotion and marketing, and then 400. Where did it go?
And they
And we
usually.
don't-
do-
That's
For the
all-
band,
That's
400
also
for
in
the band.
August, right?
Yes, if that should be August 15th. So that's 550. So we're comfortable with that?
Yes.
Now, yeah,
Okay. All right. Fitchburg Art Museum. This project seemed pretty interesting.
yeah, it's a really big event. It runs all summer, so you can go, usually it runs from June right up to Labor Day.
Right. And
and
we're not the
they're-
only people there looking. I mean, it's a $15,000, $16,550 project expense. And then there's other stuff that goes with it. Like, there's a juror, an installation, photography, prizes. It ends up being $19,705.
Yeah, it's a big show, and there are people from, it's juried, so it's not just, it's like, you know, I mean, I couldn't send in my little scribbles that I did with crayon, you know, it would be, you have to be selected to be in it. And there are local people, I know local people, you have to live or work within 25 miles of Fitchburg. So it's a local, it's a local show, local artists featured. And I know some of them have been from town.
I'm
Okay.
okay with the 200.
Me too.
Me too. I think I had never heard of it. I find it to be quite interesting.
You should go.
And then the next one is Narragansett Historical Society again for, I believe it's the cabin fever.
Yeah, what,
Yeah.
I forget, when did he say he was gonna do that? He was looking at a different timing this year, wasn't he?
Yes, it was February, and then Virginia, you were the one that told me it moved to April so far.
Oh, really?
And that and that's a tentative because probably where he was having it might not be open. But so it has moved. And again, some of this stuff might get moved that we're approving. So don't be surprised if we have to have in the future what was the meeting we had where we had to approve changes and
Yeah.
so but I thought the cabin fever is a great little thing. You get to see everybody's different collections, and that's how I became part of the Templeton Cultural Council. So and the 150 I think is more for advertising and such, right?
Yeah, although I will admit that I was a little frustrated because last year he asked for 100 and he used $34 and left us with the $60.
But I mean, again, we don't have to give the whole 150.
No.
We could give 100 is
Well,
what
I'm
you're
saying-
saying.
That's what I'm saying. I think 150 may be more than they're likely to use because I don't know. They sure didn't use it last year.
So how's everybody feel towards like $100 versus the 150?
Fine with me.
Yep, fine with that.
Thank you. Okay. And then the next one is Ken Longstreet.
Okay, I also reached out to this guy because we had questions about his application.
Oh, that's
One
the
of one of
bad
the
news,
concerns
Jen.
was he was talking about the audience and stuff, and I couldn't think of any place in town that would be good for a band. I mean, it's a large band he's talking about. It's a jazz band. I think he said it was 19 band members. So I reached out to him and I asked him what kind of facility he would need to have a performance. Well, actually, the town common would be good. He says he's done a lot of concerts in other communities on their town bandstands. And I was thinking, boy, would this be nice for like a Sunday afternoon concert
Mhm.
that we haven't had in town since the Templeton Community Band
Yeah.
stopped performing on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, and it's 19 band members, like you had said, 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxes, a piano, guitar, drums. It sounds amazing.
Wow.
Big band music. I think it would be very, very popular for a Sunday afternoon concert on the common. I personally, I'd love to see it. I think it would.
So how's our budget looking for that?
Yeah, what can we do?
Pardon me?
How is our budget? Do you think we could
Well, we
offer
still
them?
have 5,400 that we haven't spent.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm in big favor of this. I just think it would be to have something in the middle of our town common, and and people could really spread out if they had to and still hear it. And I just think it would be great to hear a 19-piece band. I just think it would be
Yeah,
great.
I just think it would be.
Sorry, do we know
popular.
when it would be? What he's planning for?
So
Pardon
So it's not conflicting with it's not going to be real close to other things that we're
Well,
talking.
we
it
would
sounds. Sorry.
work out a day with him. He didn't give a date. Of course, a lot of people are so fuzzy now because
Yeah,
of the way things are. He
So
didn't,
what
he didn't have a date. He didn't tie down to a date, but he said he'd be happy to do it on the town common. We just have to work out with him to find a date.
Right. So and to answer your question, is this person specifically put in summer or early fall, so it's kind of broad.
Oh,
But
okay.
it leaves the window open for, like Pat said, if we can get the town common, and it would be great for like a late summer or early summer concert, or even fall, because then people start heading indoors again, but they want to come out on a nice day. So I'm all for having it.
In my oh,
Go ahead.
in my notes from last time, I have $750 in parentheses, but I don't remember why.
Maybe that was your idea. I don't know. I didn't,
Well, I think what happened was, remember, we don't have to give the whole $1,250. But
I think he said that if they didn't get the full amount, they could maybe make it a shorter concert, but he would hate to, like, he said, if they've got 19 band members, I mean, that's not paying each individual band member very much when you consider, like the guys at the Kite Festival. That's like, what is it, like 3 guys, and we paid them $500.
right.
Not
I mean, they're playing pretty cheap, is basically,
Sounds
yeah.
reasonable.
A 19-member band. It's 18 band members and a singer.
I just think we'd really get a lot of people.
Yeah.
I agree with the 1,250, because it is a lot of
Okay.
equipment to lug. It's a lot of time,
Right.
a lot of effort.
Sounds good.
Okay.
We still got 4,000 left.
Ooh.
All right, good. All right.
We still have that one we have to go back to too, though.
Okay. The next one is the music dance. Is that the hip hop thingy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep,
hip hop
yep.
chair exercise. They must have cleared it with the senior center if they said it's going to be at the senior center.
I'm looking to see if there was a letter or anything. So it's exercise. It's not, it's, okay.
I think they've had something like that there before.
They did have a hip hop, but I didn't think it was chair exercise. The last time they had it, I think it was just hip hop music.
What do you think? Do you think this is something that people would be receptive to?
I don't know. I'm wondering, didn't they have something from the senior center supporting that or something?
I don't remember a hip hop at the senior center, but that doesn't mean we
It goes-
didn't.
It was a couple of years ago. Last year they applied, I think, and we didn't give them anything. But we did, I think, several years ago.
For hip hop. I'm
They're
pretty
talking about
active.
using-
I don't-
Drums and African maracas and
Yeah, there was a different hip hop. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to see.
The chair exercise.
I'm just wondering how the seniors, I mean,
Is it going to be, how receptive are they going to be of it?
exercising. So,
Oh, well, we have a pretty active exercise group at the senior center.
Oh, do you do? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Because we have yoga and it very popular, and the exercise. We were holding yoga outdoors there for a while in October.
I think this, I'm not sure, this hip hop group may have performed at the nursing home before, not with exercise, but I think it may have been Baldwinville Nursing Home, maybe that we granted them money for a few years ago.
Yeah, because I don't remember it at the senior center.
Yeah, I think it might have been at the nursing home.
I just
Well,
got a thing on
That's still
Facebook.
closed.
I just got a thing on Facebook where they, at some senior center, had a big balls that were on a laundry basket, and they had sticks, and they were beating along to the music. And then legs would go out, and they'd have to hit the side of the ball with their legs and stuff. And they were having a great time.
Sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
Like a
does.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that on
Or
my
maybe
feed.
something like that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna have to hook my mother up. My parents just moved in with me, so I'm gonna have to hook them up over at the senior center.
Yeah, you do.
I think they'd appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm
Um,
okay with this one. You okay with this one?
I am. Yep.
I am. I was trying to see, like, if there was any, it doesn't really say if it wasn't fully funded. I don't see a letter from the senior center, but I think it's a great thing. And you know, I'm all for having fun. So if you, a little exercise, I could use more too. So 280 is what they're asking.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now it's the Johnny Appleseed Association doing business as the Visitors North Central Massachusetts.
This is the big Appleseed Festival that's on Labor Day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend at Red Apple Farm. They have
Okay.
lots of different performers. They had, you know, they've had the fiddle contest up there. Usually there's 2 or 3 different stage areas where they have performers all weekend. They get they had a lot of people up there.
Yeah,
A
it's a
lot of
big,
people.
it's a $5,600 project.
Yeah, and they, yeah, but I don't know what they're putting for the number, whether that's just for the music, but the overall, it's a huge festival for 3 days. And then they do charge a small parking fee per carload, and that money goes to the Phillipson and Templeton, I think, firefighters.
Oh,
For the parking, the money that they collect for the parking fee goes to the firefighters or EMTs or, you know, first responders, however they word them.
Yeah,
But they, I mean, you know, when we talk about bang for the buck, I mean, there are a lot of people go to this festival.
Roses always did a lot for the town.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with $1,000. It is a huge festival.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people would be benefit from being able to go and.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as our budget can hold it.
Yeah, we're okay. We got $2,800 left.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, so then the next one is the Athol Historical Society. They're looking for $250 from us. Oh, I didn't realize the Red Apple Farm drafted some kind of letter too, so, okay. Oh, this is the magazine.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know my feeling on it. I'm gonna let you guys duke it out.
Well, we were going to do that last, right?
Well, at the beginning, we penciled in $100. We still have money available, but now you got the COVID cabaret. But
Right.
we're still good. So
Okay, so do you want to just give the 100? Does that, because remember, we have to give ourselves 200 for a band for the festival, the craft festival. So do you guys want to give the total 250? Do you want to just give 100? I think $100 is what we gave last year, right?
yes.
What's everybody's thoughts and feelings?
If you think that's too much, we could give them 50.
I'm
Well,
okay with the 100. I don't think I wanted to go to 250. I wouldn't strongly object to something in between, but you know, like you say, I mean, they've got advertising and they have other sources. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm either at 100 or 125, like meet it halfway. But you guys, I'm okay with 100.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with 100.
Okay, and then this is the COVID cabaret. I totally want this. This is great. I think this is fabulous. These kids work so hard. So
And they've missed out on so much this year. It's
Right.
just, you know.
yeah. So if I'm going to say if our budget allows the 1,500, I
We're
want the
okay.
1,500.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. Let's do the 1,500.
And in
I'm
this
good with it.
this case it's online, correct? So we don't have to really worry about it being moved,
Nope.
changed. It's gonna, you know, so and it'll give them an opportunity to do. I mean, they're saying they're gonna reach over 1,000 people. So okay, so that's
So-
good. Everybody's good with the 15.
Yes.
Okay. And then, but obviously the last on my list is, was kind of a priority. We wanted to make sure that Templeton Cultural Council allows ourselves $200 towards a band for the craft festival. Is that what it's called now? Because we are also going to turn around and use the $396 that we have in a fundraiser fund. So we need to allocate $200 to make sure that we have enough for a band for the common to have on a band on the common. Sorry.
Are we still, according to my computer, assuming my computer's counting right, we have $1,300 left.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Really?
And then,
And
So then-
67 cents.
woohoo! So we could, so if that's the case, we could revisit Marilyn Morales. I believe that's the dueling
Piano.
piano. So, I mean,
And
we,
she wants 750.
so we could,
Guys
we
feel
could,
about-
we could do that. We don't have to give the 750, just like a, we kind of saved ourselves a little bit, here and there. So, do you guys want to give her the 750 or should we give her like 500?
Well, will the show go on if we didn't give her this, if we didn't give them the full 750?
Let me go back. I think there was some kind of. Sorry about this. One sec. Oh, no, it's Marjorie. One second, guys. I'm sorry. I can hear somebody's clock ticking.
So I'm just looking at the two other places that we did cut what they had asked for considerably was the Winchington Music Festival
Festival,
and the flag making.
Yeah.
So do you,
So those are two places that we could, because I still have 12. Bifocals are awful. $1,270 according to.
so, what do you guys feel about this dueling piano thing?
Well, the question was, does it go on if we don't give them the full 750?
Promote.
Do we want to see if we want to add a little more to some of the other ones? And
Yeah,
then
because I apologize. It says grant funding will only cover our basic expenses and represent a significant cut in our standard concert fee.
Mm.
Especially during these trying times, we hope to receive the full amount requested to guarantee the success of this project. So it doesn't sound like there's really,
A lot of
It's a-
wiggle room.
it's all or nothing. But that doesn't necessarily mean we have to fund it either.
Well, let me see. If we gave her the 750, we would have $520 left, which would still allow us to put a little bit back into. I just
What,
wanna make
like
sure I
the-
got- I just want to make sure I got that formula right. Because I'm adding, what I've added up so far, added up to 11,380. And we have 11,900 available. So So we still got 500 bucks. So if we gave them the 750, we could still pump back into a couple of these other ones.
Yeah, so like the Winchington Music Festival, they wanted 1,000. We were gonna give them 500.
And the flags for the veterans, we
We could bump that up a little,
could
right?
bump that up a little bit.
Okay, so, does everybody want to do the 750 for Marilyn Morales?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and then the Winchington Music Festival, do we want to give them the additional 500, or would like more like 750?
Well, let me look back. What do we do? What if we gave the flag guys a little bit more?
Oh, definitely. So do you
So we
want to
could
give
get-
them,
If we give them half of what they asked for?
so 500? They asked for 1,000.
And that would bring us for our total spending so far,
Mhm.
11,530, which still leaves $370.
So the 370, could we add that to the Winchington Music Festival? So that would be 875? Is that
What if we put, make our cultural council summer concert band fund at 270,
Okay,
and that would give us an even $300 to put back into something else.
even 300.
Could it be 270, 67?
Yeah, yes, yes, it could.
So an even 300.
Yeah, I know, we keep going back to the 67 cents. I was kind of rounding it out of there.
Um, 60. $300.67 to give somebody?
No, we'll put a 67 cents in our own account. And we'll make sure that we pay somebody 67 cents.
You could buy a stamp and have a little bit
Okay.
left.
Yeah, there you go.
So still only gonna give them 500?
Ooh, yeah, who?
The
That's
the Winchington Music Festival?
Oh,
Is that the only one now that we've cut back on
They-
other than
Yeah.
uniquely, other than the magazine?
Yeah, they wanted 1,000 and we're only giving them 500. I kind of lost the math, so that's why I'm
now what do we
asking.
have left?
No, it's, I was just picking up somewhere else. Yes, we gave them, we said we give them 500 and they asked for 1,000. So if we gave them 800?
Yep.
Or we could give them 7 and we could
We're
put
frozen.
put some money back into the Lucy Stone tea. In case it gets pushed over after
Yeah,
June 30th. If we put the, let's see, if we put the money back in Lucy Stone. Seems to me though, we shouldn't be able to give this much money, that we shouldn't have that much available. That would leave us $150 that we could put back into
the
the
Lucy
music
Stone.
festival. So we could give them $650.
Okay, so not, wait a minute, I lost you. So the Winchington Music Festival, instead of 700, do 650?
650. And put the money back into the Lucy Stone.
Okay, no town funds for Lucy Stone. We're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, because if we wanted to pay for it with town funds anyhow, then this money from this grant would just roll over into the next granting cycle.
Okay, all right. But that ensures that at least we have the money if it gets pushed out, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and according to my computer, that leaves us 0 money to give away. We've spent $11,900
Yay, we did it.
and
Did it.
67 cents.
Could we go over those figures one more time? Because we've done some changing and I'm not sure I got them
Yep.
all
Let me
down.
just, let me find my treasurer report just to make sure. the number we had was $11,900.67, right?
Yes.
Okay, starting from the top. International Club, Marjorie Chase, $500.
Yes.
Davis Bates, $475.
Yes.
John Porcino, $425.
Yes.
Marilyn Morales, $750.
Yeah.
Winchington Winds, $100.
Yes.
Winchington Music Festival, $650.
Yes.
Sean Fullerton, $250.
Yes.
Gala, $300. Gala, $300.
Yep.
The middle school trip to the museum, $700. Dr. Green, $500.
Yep.
Flag making, $500.
Yep.
Dan Kerouac, $250.
Okay.
Motorpalooza, $600. Lucy Stone, $150. The Pro Kite Day, $200. Go Fly
Yep.
a Kite, $550.
Yep.
Regional show at Fitchburg Art, $200.
Yep.
Cabin Fever, $100.
Yep.
Ken Longstreet, $1250.
Yep.
That's the jazz band.
Yep.
Music EDU hip hop chair exercise, $280.
Yep.
Johnny Appleseed, $1,000.
Okay.
Athol Historical, $100.
Okay.
Ann Lyons, $1,500.
Yep.
And the Templeton Cultural Council Summer Concert, $270.67.
Yay. Wow, we did it.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome. We actually were able to do everybody.
Yeah, and there was only a few that we really had to cut because we were only over by, I don't know, less than about $1,000. So, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah,
That's
excellent.
awesome.
All right, so everybody's comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yep.
And then, let's see. Okay, so on the meeting agenda, so do I have to second that and everything, Pat? We're all set?
I think a motion to approve the grant decisions as listed would be in order.
Okay, so I motion to approve all the grants as we decided. Is that right? Did I say it right?
I second that.
Thank you, Nicole.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Pat. Then the next thing is discussion of schedule of state grant cycle. There is a 15-day period during which denials can be appealed, which could prompt a need for additional meeting to consider before grant approval letters can be sent out. So anybody,
We aren't actually sending out any denials because everybody's getting something.
so that changes it, right?
So we shouldn't have to worry about that. Because we're not going to send out any denial letters.
Yeah, so everybody's getting something, if not most of it, so.
Yeah, and keep in mind, for those who have not been on the council very long, this is a very unusual situation.
Yeah.
Because normally we would have, like the $7,300 in new money, maybe a little bit left over.
Not much.
So that we, with the $12,000 in requests, we might have had $8,000 to give away. And we would be making a lot of tough decisions. But because so many things got canceled last year, it was bad for last year, but it's good for this year.
It's nice to have something good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
well, I hope it's a sign that things are gonna be better than they've been.
yeah, because we basically average about $7,300, correct, from the state?
Yeah, and one of the things, the state does allow us to like keep a 5% administration fund for our own purposes. But since we get some town money, we really haven't had to use I mean, a couple times we did set aside 5%, but we didn't end up using it. So I don't know why we would want to set it aside. It would be for things like stamps, for mailing out the approval letters and stuff, but we can use the town funds to do that. So there's no sense cutting into the grant money. So.
Great, this is exciting. Don't you feel like it's Christmas? Okay, so then, there's no state requirement though, Pat, because we have no denial letters. So we don't have really a 15-day grace period.
Right. I believe that's correct.
So we could get this, as soon as we get to it, we can get it out then. Because
Somebody have to work on those grant approval letters.
is there a volunteer?
Is there a form? Is there a set form to send out of that you would just fill in the blanks? You have congratulations, you have received blah, blah, blah for your project.
I have some sample letters from previous ones we've used. I mean, I sometimes tried to personalize them a little bit, explaining why we maybe didn't grant the full amount, or, if it seemed appropriate to explain something. I could provide somebody with samples of previous letters we've used.
Does anybody feel like doing it?
Well, I don't mind doing it if Pat would help me, if she would look them over before they go out.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
is it a matter of typing them up on my computer, and who would the town print them out, and or how? Would I
If you
get them?
typed them up, I would be happy to print them.
Okay. Oh, okay. Then you'd mail them too, or I could
Yeah,
mail
yeah.
them, or
Yeah, well, do
Oh.
I have to sign them, Pat?
yeah. Does she have to sign? Yeah, sign.
I think you do, but if I printed them out, that I can take them over to your house and you can sign them.
And then I'll mail them. How's that? Why don't we make it a team effort?
Teamwork, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
because all the addresses are
Actually,
everything.
Virginia, the most time consuming thing on the letters is typing in the names and addresses of the grantees,
I'm
onto the,
quick on the computer, so
Yeah.
I'll type if you proofread, and
sure.
then I can make any corrections, or I can send you the files and.
Yeah, I can send you sample letters from
Great,
previous
Great.
years. And you can
Okay, that's
change
easy
special
enough.
use.
I'd be happy to do that.
And I did sit down and I wrote down everybody's emails for all the grants. I mean, I could send them a quick note saying, look,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been approved. Look for the letter and the reimbursement in the mail. Is that a good thing
Yeah,
too?
you know what?
Yeah,
I wonder if we're even allowed to just
email. Why?
send them by email.
Right.
We have to send a form. We have to send the form with it, but we could attach the email form, because there's a form the reimbursement form that goes at the same time. But I can check to see whether it would be okay to just, email. I wouldn't do the approval in an email. I think it should still be a letter,
I agree. I think
But
something should
attached-
definitely,
a letter attached.
so what, like a cut and paste thing and put the reimbursement form in an email? But the reimbursement form is also available online.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to find. It's easier just to attach the PDF.
Okay,
It really is. It took me a while to get to it.
okay.
Just support
Do
it.
you actually have that in a PDF?
Yeah.
So, pardon me, do you want to forward me the PDF? And then I will send the informal email just saying, hey, we want to let you know that you've been.
No, I think we need to send a formal. I think we should send a formal letter attached to an email.
So for an email with the formal letter attached and the PDF attached.
Yeah.
Ah,
Let me check with the state on whether that would satisfy their thing.
That would save postage to this day and age.
And some people have said that they just recently received their Christmas cards that were mailed in beginning of December, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. So, so Virginia, is that something that you want to take care of?
Yeah,
Then?
Virginia and I will work that out.
Yeah, okay, we'll work it out after. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want me to send anything via email, like just a quick note then?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
So what's our time frame? We'll talk, Pat.
We'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say like you must have at least 15 days to do this, right?
Yeah, we get it done.
Yeah, because we don't have the grace period for
I just
denials.
want to, I'll just check the, all the state regulations because, they've changed all their deadlines. So I'll just double check all the deadlines.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Pat for all the work she's done, and Lisa too. I think both of you have done yeoman work in leading us this year, especially because of all the craziness of COVID-19 and everything that needs to be researched and redone. And so thank you so much. You provided great leadership, I think.
Great job, ladies.
Thank you, but it's mostly we definitely have to steer to Pat Gale, but also Barbara White was very instrumental last year.
Yeah.
She on this committee, she's really missed because her and Pat Gale were whirlwind on this committee. So big shoes to fill. So and it's a great little community. I mean, committee, how can you give like almost $13,000 away, and this is going to help artists and our community. So and I really appreciate all of you being on the committee, because if we didn't have the committee, we wouldn't be able to give the money away. So
And then just a couple housekeeping things. One is, keep in mind, we may have to meet if people ask for modifications because dates keep changing or, whatever, because of restrictions on gatherings. So we may still have some meetings coming up. And secondly, any of these events that we funded, if you please look through the, look through your list, the panel book that you have, try to go to some of these events representing the Cultural Council so that the people that we give them, grant the money to are aware that we are aware of their programs. And also it would give us a better sense when they ask again, whether we think they are programs, that we should support.
that's great.
And if there's things like the Kite Festival or the Motorpalooza, we do set up a table.
I was just
where
going to
we,
say that. Yeah.
We try to do, some kind of activities and have our materials and try to encourage other people to join the council. And if you can participate in any of those, it would really be great.
So you'll let us know when those are scheduled?
Yeah, I'll send out, like I did last year, I tried to keep everybody informed when it was going to happen and stuff. So, and we don't have to spend the whole day there either when we set up our booth. As long as we represent it and we're there for a couple of hours, just in case people have questions. And it's a good way to meet the community. And hopefully I won't be interviewed again, Pat.
And to make people aware that we exist and that we're, here to do things.
And there's faces to the council.
And I'm trying to keep up a Facebook page for the Templeton Cultural Council. So if you're on Facebook, look for Templeton Cultural Council. I'm trying to post some of the more interesting things that the State Cultural Council has. They advertise or promote. And it's just a good place to try to keep in touch, with people.
So will you post the results of our voting tonight at the appropriate time on our Facebook
At the
page?
appropriate time, I will. I won't do it tonight.
No, but appropriate.
Yeah, we'll put that up there.
Oh,
Because
thank you
that's
for that.
really, because that's something from a, and also I would, my background is newspapers and communication. So from a news standpoint, giving away this amount of money at this time is a real news story, I think.
Well, we do.
So it has great news value.
We do send out a press release, whether or not the local newspaper chooses to publish it.
Well, I think that you put the right spin on it, because the giving away, it's like what Lisa and you both have said, Pat, giving away this amount of money this
Mhm.
year is a big benefit to the arts. And
Yeah.
I think that's the great news. That's great news. A bright light in the midst of all this COVID darkness.
So
That's great
Pat,
news,
if
you.
sorry, Virginia.
No, sorry, Nicole. I talk.
Okay.
I think she's frozen.
Oh,
Ooh.
Nicole, her
I
feed is
froze
frozen.
Nicole.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
She froze.
But she's frozen nicely. Sometimes.
Okay,
there you-
anybody move to adjourn?
Nicole, are you still there?
I'm still here. Yep.
So
Pictures.
your whole thing had frozen. What was your question? We don't want it to go
Sorry.
unanswered.
Right.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just saying that Steve Landry from the Gardiner News just interviewed me in regards to the shelter and how COVID-19's affected the shelter. So I think it would be a great segue into how the Templeton Cultural Council has been able to, hand out grants like this.
There you go. See?
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll follow up with him.
A lot of people don't realize that we give money away.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only department in town that does.
Well,
Well,
And
my
actually,
grandson was very surprised when I said, "Oh yeah, we got a meeting. We're going to give money away." He says, "Since when has anybody in the town of Templeton done that, Graham? I've been living here all my life." I said,
Well, you met it now.
Yeah. I said, "You should have asked me. I could have told you."
and if you don't follow the Mass Cultural Council online, it really is a good idea to. They send out a newsletter every month that has a lot of interesting things in it, because in addition to these grants that we've given out tonight, they give out a lot of other kinds of they have a festival grant program that people who organize festivals can apply for and get $500 to help with their expenses. They have a lot of different grant programs other than this one, and they also have just a lot of interesting information. So if you don't follow the Mass Cultural Council, try to dig it out there on your computer and
Does not to interrupt you, Pat, but does everybody get that newsletter in your email? Because I can make sure when I get it to forward it.
do you guys get those?
I do.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Because if you didn't, I'd make sure that it was forwarded.
Oh, and just a reminder that we need to take that online class.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I did take it. It's a little lengthy. I struggled through it. It's a lot of language that just over my head, but I got through it. You got to take a little test, and then what I did was I just printed it all out, and I just mailed it to the town clerk, because that's who needs it. And on the envelope I put town clerk, and then I put Templeton Cultural Council, whatever it's called, the ethics or whatever it's called, I forget the name of the program that we had to watch, just so they know what it is when they get it. So
it's just that you're printing out the certificate of completion. Is that
right, but then I had there's 2 forms that you have to sign that says that you read the material that came
yeah.
in the other emails.
I already did that. Yeah.
Okay, great. So it's the 2 piece. Sometimes when I do stuff from my tablet, it gets cut off, so I get really frustrated. I'm not tech savvy. So Holly Young had sent just the 2 forms, so I had sent that to you guys. Those are the 2 forms that do need to be filled out. But the one big email I sent you was with all the literature that has to be read, and then the link to take the course. So
I can find that again.
yeah, I can look and see if I have it still, but
I'm sure it's in there. But
yeah, it's not hard. It's just that you have to kind of pay attention a little bit, and it's it's just legal stuff that I don't really deal with all the time. So I was just like, okay, and I went to take the test, and I'm like, oh, well, that sounds right. And it was like, no. So but it's something that we have to do, and I'm assuming once you take it while you're on the council, once you do it, you don't have to do it again, but don't quote me on that. So I think they just have to make sure that we've all done it. So, and that has to be done, I think, by the end of February. There was dates on it, so just do it when you can. I know adding all that in your regular life, adding that in is tough to get through. So I apologize for that, but it's just something that needs to get done. So, okay, any other questions? Do we vote to adjourn?
So
I move
moved.
we adjourn.
Move to adjourn. I second the adjourn. Okay, ladies. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
Thank you,
night.
guys.
Be
Night.
safe, everyone.
You too.